I welcome you to my YouTube channel for yet another episode about this subtopic of ours, which is known as histology. For all the other episodes, as you have been following, we have been looking at histology, and we have been able to see for all the previous, I'll keep repeating this so that we can easily link up very well. We were able to see that as far as tissues are concerned, because histology is the study of tissues, we saw that as far as tissues are concerned, we have got animal tissues and plant tissues. And we are able to see that as far as animal tissues are concerned, we had very many types of such tissues. And these types we have been able to see that we have got epithelial tissue, we have got connective tissue, we have got reproductive tissue, we have got what we call nervous tissue, and we have also what we call muscular tissue. We have been able to see some of these in the previous episodes, which I know you have already learned very well. Now, we were able to see that connective tissue is divided into what we call connective tissue proper, and then we also have what we call special connective tissue. And we have also been able, in the previous episodes, we have also been able to see that connective tissue proper is divided into what we call loose and then dense connective tissue. We were able to see that the dense connective tissue is divided into the dense regular and then the dense irregular connective tissue. And we're able to see that the loose connective tissue is divided into what we call the areolar tissue, then is divided into adipose tissue, and then there is what we call reticular tissue. Now, all these ones we have been able to see actually in the previous episode. We were able to expound more about areolar tissue. I hope you have finished watching that. If you haven't, please go and first check on that so that you can get more knowledge about it. Yeah, so in the simple connective tissue, in the special connective tissue, we saw that we have got 3 types. And these 3 types we have what we call, I hope you still remember, we have what we call bone, we have what we call cartilage, and then the third one, I know you already know it, that is what? That is blood. So these are the special connective tissues that we saw. And then these two we can also call them skeletal. We can also refer to them as skeletal tissues. Now, in all this part, or for all of this part, we have already seen in the previous videos, which I know indeed that if you have been following me very well, I know you already have very good ideas about this. And therefore, please, if you have really been benefiting in these episodes, make sure you inform that friend of yours. Share with them. And please, if you haven't subscribed, tap on that subscribing part down there. So, in this episode, therefore, we are going to expound more on the special connective tissue. And we are going to put more emphasis on this kind of special connective tissue, which is known as cartilage. Okay, so when we talk about cartilage, what is cartilage? Cartilage is also is a connective tissue, which actually goes in the same category with the bone as we have already seen. But the difference between cartilage is, I know if you have ever eaten, if you check on the meat, there is some meat which you find, when you're eating meat, there is somewhere where you find that you have something which wants to resemble like a bone, but for it is whitish. It is whitish in color, and then when you compare it with the bone, the cartilage for it is, apart from it, in terms of color, this cartilage is whitish. It is very white, and there is a reason as to it is whitish. When you compare it with the bone, this cartilage for it is softer. It is softer. It is somehow soft. And therefore, the reason as to why it is soft and it is whitish, we are going to realize that it is because, unlike the bone, the cartilage does not have blood vessels. And because it does not have blood vessels, the blood vessels are the one which make the bone to appear brownish. And therefore, because this one lacks blood vessels, that's why it appears whitish. And the reason as to why a cartilage is softer is because a bone, when it becomes enriched with, because it has blood vessels, for it, the blood vessels end up supplying it with ions, for example, calcium ions, phosphate ions, which make it harder. And because this one lacks blood vessels, therefore it lacks those ions. And because it lacks those ions, that's why for it is not that hard, or that's why for it is what? It is softer. Yeah. And so that is a small brief I can give you about cartilage. Now, we are saying cartilage is of different types. And what are these different types? These different types are good enough, you see, because we are online. Yeah, as you are watching this video, you can also get some, you can also get some few minutes, and then after you have watched this video and you have learned very well and you want to look at some of these pictures, yeah, you can also utilize the same opportunity to also Google and look at some of the pictures of some of these things that we are looking at. For example, we are now saying cartilage is divided into three types. We have got 3 types of cartilage. What are those types? One, cartilage is of 3 types, and these types are, we have got what you call hyaline. Hyaline cartilage. Hyaline cartilage. We have also got a type of cartilage which is called yellow elastic cartilage. And then we have also got a type of cartilage which is called the white fibrous cartilage. White fibrous cartilage. Now, these different types of cartilage, their names derive from what they are composed of. For example, remember, we said a cartilage is a type of a special connective tissue. And in the previous videos, we were able to see that a connective tissue, something special about this connective tissue, that they have got a matrix, a liquid, a matrix, a ground substance called the matrix, within which we find cells and what? And fibers. In fact, maybe before I can even expound more about all these ones here, when you talk about the general structure of a cartilage, we are going to find out that a cartilage, if assume maybe tomorrow they ask the question to describe the structure of a cartilage. Whatever I'm going to describe here is the same answer you write even when they ask you to describe the structure of hyaline cartilage. Now, in general, cartilage is made up of a matrix. Let me first do some small structure here. Structure of cartilage. Like all connective tissues, cartilage is made up of a matrix. We have got a matrix, which is the liquid substance. Now, this matrix within cartilage has got a special name, and this special name is none other than chondrin. It's called chondrin. Now, in this term, in this part of cartilage, we are going to talk more about the word chondrin. So whenever you see the word chondri, that is something to do with cartilage. So the matrix is called chondrin. That's the matrix within the cartilage. Now, we are saying like any other connective tissue, within this matrix, we find there different cells and then different fibers. Now, we are saying within this matrix, we find there some cells. And what are these cells? We have got cells which are like this. If I can draw a small illustration here, I have got a cell there, I have got a cell there, I have got a cell here. Now, these cells which are found within the cartilage have a special name. And this special name we give them is called, from the word chondro, these ones are called chondroblasts. So, and the work of this chondroblast is to secrete the matrix. So this matrix you are seeing here is secreted by the chondroblasts. Then, within this, now these chondroblasts are the cartilage cells which are active. But as the cartilage grows and becomes mature, some of these chondroblasts become inactive. And as they become inactive, they become enclosed. And they become enclosed. That enclosure, for example, if I can put some illustration, I can have some of the chondroblasts which have become less active. And as they become less active, as the cartilage grows and becomes mature, they become enclosed up. Now, this enclosure that enclosure is called lacunae. When it is one, we call it lacuna. When there are many, we add an E. That's the what enclosed. Now, these chondroblasts which have been enclosed, get another name. They have another name, or we can give them another name, and that name we can give them is what we are called, we can also refer to them as, at that moment they are called chondrocytes. So chondrocytes are actually chondroblasts, but which are less active and which have been enclosed by structures we call lacunae. And then within this, of course, we have got some fibers. Within the same structure, we have got some fibers, and those fibers, like I told you in the previous structure, in the previous episodes, these fibers, some of them are collagen fibers, and some of them are elastic fibers. And we are saying that a cartilage, or this tissue called cartilage, all these cells are enclosed up. They have an enclosure. They are all enclosed up. So we have these cells, but all these cells are surrounded by a general membrane, or the general membrane which surrounds all these cells. In as far as cartilage is concerned, the tissue called cartilage is concerned, it also has a name. So this enclosure, this membrane which surrounds all the cells within the cartilage, has a name, and that name still, like you see the word chondro almost everywhere. This membrane here is called the perichondrium. So this perichondrium is the membrane which encloses all these cells and therefore ensures that it protects all the other cells which are within that tissue. So this is a simple illustration of what? Of a cartilage, or the structure of a cartilage. In case they ask you what describes the structure of a cartilage, this is what we talk about. A cartilage is made up of a matrix known as chondrin, which matrix is secreted by cells known as chondroblasts. When chondroblasts are enclosed within lacunae, at some extent, the chondroblasts become inactive, or become less active, and then they are enclosed in structures known as lacunae. And at that moment, those cells are referred to as chondrocytes. And then we are saying all the cells within a cartilage tissue are enclosed in a membrane known as perichondrium. So this is a simple illustration of what is a cartilage now. If I now move from here and I go back to the different types of cartilage, we are saying that when you look at hyaline, for it is an intermediate, is actually the simplest form. Amongst all these ones here, this is the simplest form of what? It is the simplest form of cartilage. It's the simplest form of cartilage. And therefore, it is like an intermediate. It is in between there. Now, when I move from here and I come to here, I will tell you that now, of course, I've told that when they ask you to describe the structure of hyaline cartilage, you more or less describe what we have put here. For those ones who have been able to watch the areolar tissue in the previous video, you remember me telling you that when you are describing the structure of areolar tissue, more or less the simple structure from where all the other tissues like the adipose and the tissues are coming from. Why? Because we said the adipose tissue is more or less like an areolar tissue which has got more of the fat cells. And then the reticular tissue, we saw it is within the connective tissue, when we have now more reticular fibers, that one becomes more of the reticular tissue. So when we come here, we are also saying that more or less what I have described here is more or less what we can also talk about hyaline cartilage. But now when we come to yellow elastic cartilage, we are saying this kind of cartilage, this is a type of cartilage where you have more of the elastic fibers. Remember, I've told you that a connective tissue contains elastic fibers and collagen fibers. So in this yellow elastic cartilage here, we have more. The tissue has got more of elastic fibers. And therefore, about elastic fibers, we say these elastic fibers, they provide more elasticity. They provide elasticity. So it means where we find more of these elastic fibers, this cartilage can be able to, it is flexible. The cartilage is flexible. Why? Because elastic fibers provide elasticity. And therefore, you find some of these, for example, if you are to look for where these tissues are, this kind of a tissue, or elastic cartilage is found, you find that it is found in those areas where there is need for some flexibility. For example, in your ear, external ear, the pinna. This pinna here, in your ear, you have a cartilage here. That's why, and this cartilage which is within this pinna here is, I hope you can feel, if you touch in your ear, you can feel something which is hard. That is cartilage. Now we are saying this cartilage is yellow elastic. You hear the word elastic. That's why when you do like this and remove the hand, the cartilage, you can what? The ear goes back at the original place, the original position where it was. Why? Because it is flexible. You can bend it. When you remove the hand, it can go back to the original position. So this one is found in areas like what? This one is found in areas in like the what? Like the pinna. Another place where you can find, for example, this kind of cartilage is like, for example, in the epiglottis. Epiglottis is a small part. For example, if this is the mouth, there is a part which goes to the trachea, to the lungs, and then there is another part which continues to the which goes to the, now this is the esophagus. This is the esophagus. Then here this is the trachea. This one is going to the lungs. Now if this is now the pharynx. This is the pharynx. So the back region of your mouth is what we are calling the pharynx. Now we are saying that around this is the mouth. This is the mouth. So we are saying that in this case here, there is like a small tissue here, which is called, there is like a small tissue here at the back of your mouth there, which is called the epiglottis. The epiglottis. Now this part here, what it does is that when you are swallowing food, it comes and crosses this area here, the area to the what? To the trachea, so that food does not come and enter into the trachea. So it directs food to come where? To come into the esophagus. And therefore, when food has been swallowed, then now this epiglottis again comes back to this side. So its work is to ensure that when food is being swallowed, it moves from this direction and then it comes with food, it covers this area so that food is pushed where? So that food is pushed into the esophagus. That one prevents choking. That's why when you are eating and you are talking and at the same time you are eating and at the same time you are talking, food is likely to enter into your trachea because this thing may not easily function very well because of that. Now we are saying this epiglottis, you see, it is also flexible. It can easily adjust. And therefore, because it is flexible, that's why it also needs the cartilage, type of a cartilage which is also flexible. So we are also going to find this yellow elastic cartilage in areas like what? Like the pinna, like the epiglottis. Why? Because you see that there we have got, it is flexible enough, and therefore because that flexibility is able to be flexible because it contains the type of cartilage which is known as yellow elastic cartilage. Now, on the other hand, when we come to the white fibrous cartilage, for it contains more. Remember we said these fibers here, these fibers which you are seeing here, some of them are collagen fibers and some of them are elastic fibers. So we are saying that these fibers which are found within the white fibrous cartilage are more of collagen fibers. So this one has more collagen what? More collagen fibers. And something you know about these collagen fibers, we have said that these collagen fibers, for them, they are tough, they are stronger, and therefore whenever they are somewhere, that place is always tough. So this collagen fibers provides a high tensile strength, It makes that area where this cartilage is found to be somehow stronger. Why? Maybe that place where the cartilage is found needs some kind of strength because maybe it provides some serious supporting role. It plays some serious supporting role. So for that matter, therefore, we are saying this kind of cartilage is found in those areas where we need some strength. For example, within the backbone, we have got bones which we call vertebrae. But now we are saying between those vertebrae, between vertebrae you have some kind of like vertebrae like that. But we are saying in between these vertebrae, we have got some cartilage there. So the cartilage which is found within the backbone, in between the vertebrae within your backbone, such kind of cartilage is called white fibrous. Why? The backbone supports the rest of the what? The rest of the body. So it means there you see that you need some strength. So here, this is found within, it is found in areas like what? In areas like in the backbone, where we need some what? Where we need some strength. Now somebody might be saying that Sir, how come you have not given us examples where? For example, hyaline. Now, this hyaline cartilage, you know, also in your nose. Yeah, here in the nose, we also have some cartilage here in the nose. So, this one here, the hyaline cartilage, is found in areas. This one is found in areas like, e.g., it is found in areas like in the nose. It's found in areas like in the nose. It's also it's found in areas like in the nose. It is also found in areas like in the trachea. You know that the trachea also contains cartilage, and also that one also allows the cartilage ensures that it does not collapse, especially when you are breathing in. It does that. It ensures the trachea remains when it is hollow. So within the trachea here, we have got some rings of cartilage, and those rings of cartilage within the trachea ensures that that cartilage, this hole, the pipe through which air passes, because trachea is also called the windpipe, it doesn't collapse, it doesn't close up. So we have it in the trachea, and this cartilage, you're also going to find it at the extreme ends of longer bones. When we are going to find it at the extreme ends of longer bones like humerus, longer bones like tibia, and so on. You have a bone which is too long like this, but at the extreme end here, we are going to find there some little part of what? Some parts of what? Of cartilage. So this cartilage at the extreme end here is still hyaline cartilage. So it's found at the extreme ends of what? Of longer bones. We also find this hyaline cartilage. We can also find it. We find it at the extreme ends of longer bones and very many other places. So, in simple terms, this is what I can summarize for you about cartilage. Of course, you can go and read about more other details, but here, for me, my role is to ensure that I give you a simple summary about all these topics so that you can find them easy for you to read. So we are saying cartilage is divided into these types, and we have talked about each one of them. And here I've also given you a simple description about a cartilage in general, which, if asked, you can be able to put down. I am sure that you have learned something. Make sure that if you have liked, give me a like down there. If you have learned something, please give me a like down there. And please share with it. If you have not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much. May God bless you.